And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Well, tomorrow we're looking at a storm system gathering here and moving slowly northward that'll begin bearing down on the east side of Kodiak Island late tomorrow afternoon and evening. Otherwise, out to the west, just coming onto the chart there, a system finally entering the Bering Sea that we'll see on Monday is a pretty active low there, moving to the western Aleutians with gale and possible storm force winds out in advance of the front. High pressure, light winds dry over the eastern northern Bering Sea across the northern interior as this low pushes the front right up to the North Gulf Coast and into the Panhandle for rain, heavy at times all through this area back into Kodiak with gale force winds. And for the coastal water forecast tomorrow here on the south coast, light west winds at 10 knots and south at 15 for the central coast, while the north coast will be looking at east winds 10 to 20 knots. Lynn Canal, southeast wind at 10, south at 10 for Stevens Passage, and a light northwest breeze for Clarence Strait. And then as that front pushes in toward the coast on Monday, looking at gale warnings here for the north coast, east winds 30 to 40 knots, seas up to 17 feet, and small craft advisories to the south coast for southeast winds at 30 knots. Clarence Strait, southeast at 20 knots, east at 15 for Stevens Passage, and southeast 15 for Lynn Canal. Prince William Sound tomorrow, east wind at 10 knots, east at 20 for the eastern North Gulf Coast, and then northeast 20 for the western coast. Cook Inlet, Kamishak Bay, north winds 15 to 20 knots, and northeast at 15 for the Barren Islands. Gale warnings for the North Gulf Coast and the Barren Islands for the day on Monday. East to northeast winds across that entire area at 40 knots with seas running 15 to 17 feet. Prince William Sound, small craft advisories, east winds 25 knots, seas 6 feet. Northern Cook Inlet, northeast at 20, south of the Forelands and down into Kamishak Bay, north winds 30 knots with 8 to 9 foot seas. Kodiak Island tomorrow, north to northeast winds at 20 knots, seas 5 feet. For the Alaska Peninsula, north to northwest winds 15 to 20 knots, while Bristol Bay will be looking at a north wind at 15. And then for the day Monday, gale warnings for Kodiak Island, north winds 30 to 40 knots, seas up to 14 feet. Small craft advisories for Bristol Bay, north 25, seas 6 feet. Alaska Peninsula, north to northwest winds 20 to 25 knots. And for the eastern Aleutians tomorrow, we've got northwest winds in the forecast at 20 knots. Adak and Atka, northwest at 15 knots. And for the western Aleutians, west-southwest winds at 15 knots. And then with that next storm front coming in, we've got east to southeast winds, 45 knots here from Shemya all the way to Unimak Island. And then for Unalaska Island, looking at north winds, 20 to 25 knots. And then for Sunday for the southwest coast, north winds 10 to 20 knots, strongest south of Nunivak Island. North at 15 for the Pribilofs, variable at 10 for St. Matthew Island, and north winds 5 to 10 knots for Norton Sound and St. Lawrence Island. And for Monday, north winds 10 to 15 knots to the Yukon Delta coast, St. Lawrence Island, and Norton Sound. Small craft advisories south of Nunivak Island, north at 25, northeast 20 St. Matthew Island, northeast 15 for the Pribilofs. And up to the Arctic coast for tomorrow, east wind at 10 for the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline, south at 15 for the central coast, and west wind 10 to 15 knots for the western coast. The Chukchi Sea, light winds out of the west and southwest. And then for the day on Monday, for the western Arctic coast and the Chukchi Sea, light variable winds, southwest at 10 for the central coast, and a northwest breeze at 5 knots for the eastern Beaufort Sea.